work? Are we ready to work? Yes, can we have a high five? Hey, come on, high fives. All right. Hello, everybody. Hey. We've been listening to Halloween playlist and having a good time. So, sorry for being a little bit late. We were time warping and you know how it goes. It is the most wonderful time of the year. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. We have got a new class format. So not anything too crazy complicated that I'm going to take a whole bunch of time to describe, but it is just something a little bit different. So we're doing a leg circuit today. Leg chair circuit being the difference. So when I say chair circuit, I don't want to be misleading. So that doesn't mean that we're going to be seated the whole time. Usually when we talk about chair class, we talk about a super modified class for somebody with injuries or illness or a senior or something like that. So we're not toning it down that far. And so I think you're wanted in the side. I think you're wanted in the side set. Go on, go. You've got business to attend to. So it is not like a super modified senior chair class, okay? So it can be modified. It can definitely be taken down some notches, but I don't want anyone coming into this thinking like this is going to be a super easy class or ignoring the class because they think it's going to be super easy. It's actually going to be quite challenging, but like I said, if you are someone who needs a seated class, there's a lot of things in this class you can do, a lot of ways you can modify. Okay, so just want to be clear, we're using the chair as a prop, not as a extremely modified class, okay? All right, so what do you need? You need a sturdy chair. And I've given you the sturdy chair speech many times. So I mean a chair that can hold your weight, even more so today because we're going to be climbing up into that bad boy. So something sturdy. I also recommend setting that sturdy chair next to a wall or something else that you can grab for balance. Because most of us probably aren't climbing up and down out of chairs every day. So have something close by for balance. Have a super sturdy chair. Super sturdy. Now, if climbing up a chair, we're only doing it for 2 exercises, but if your chair is really tall, like mine is borderline, I'm not excited about it, but I don't have a sturdy chair shorter, then you can also modify the chair step-ups and just use a step, or if you have a step stool, or if you have a coffee table that's nice and sturdy, something lower that's sturdy, you can modify out of the chair for and just use something else. So keep the chair because we're going to use it for other stuff, but you can modify the chair, okay? So just keep that in mind that if your chair, or once you start, you're like, oh no, this is a no-go, then just do something else. If you have a bench, maybe a workout bench is a little lower. So just keep an open mind with what you're going to do with that chair. So we've got sturdy chair, a lower step for modification if we need it. We're going to need a mini band, so it's a circular band, and I think mine is accessible here, buried. We've been doing some garage sorting here. So mini band, it's either going to look like this, one of those nice fabric mini bands, or what most of us probably have is one of those rubber circular mini bands. That's perfect. And then also just consider a yoga mat. We're not getting on the floor today, but we are doing one exercise where our back is going to be on the chair. So if your chair, your sturdy chair, is also a very hard chair or has hard edges or corners, you may want to have like a folded up yoga mat to place on the chair. And I'll show you more about that when we get there, okay? So extra yoga mat, possibly you need it, and also possibly a heavy weight. You'll only use it, I think, one time, but you might want a heavy weight for one of our options, okay? There we go. So that's our sturdy chair class. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to do 1 minute on, 20 seconds off, 8 total exercises. So it's 8 total efforts, a minute apiece, and we're going to go through that 4 times. So that's how we're going to be operating today. As always, anytime we do something timed, a circuit, a Tabata, anything, be patient with that first round because you've got to learn each exercise as we go. We'll use our 20-second breaks to help coach, but you know that's not always quite enough time. So just be patient with that first round until we get the hang of things. As always, modify as you need it. We're doing lower body. I will do my best to give you all sorts of options as we go along for modifications. But if you don't know how to modify and I don't tell you, leave me a comment and I check in at the end of each circuit so I will be able to help you for the next trip through. And lastly, of course, just forget the things I always ask of you guys. Please, please, please participate with us on social media. Share, like, subscribe, favorite, ring the bell, all those things that keep people paying attention to us on social media. It is unfortunately not one of those things where you post it and people see it. It needs to have interactions and things like that for more people to see it. So anything you can do is greatly appreciated. And speaking of appreciation, if you would, please consider donating. It is the only payment that I receive for these classes, so it is greatly appreciated when you can give. Venmo at Strong Style Fit is where you will find me. Again, this is personal training, made slightly less personal by the fact that I'm not standing in front of you, but you are getting classes led by a personal trainer, 60 minutes for free. So please consider donating if you can. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and get my chair in the frame. I kind of intended to alternate between two chairs, one a little lower, one a little taller, but I'm going to be honest, the one that's a little bit lower just isn't sturdy enough for my liking. It really made me a little nervous. So I'm going to just try to do my best with the taller chair. Trying to think if there's anything else, but I think that's it. So get your chair, again, have your chair close to a wall or something. So I'm actually going to scoot mine just a little bit closer. I don't want to knock over my pretty pumpkin stack though. Isn't this amazing? Oh my gosh. Oh, don't even get me started. All right, guys, I'm going to check the video real quick, and then I will be right back, and we are going to rock and roll with this leg chair circuit. Beautiful. All right, guys, so where we are starting is a chair squat. So just a brief explanation of a chair squat is we're going to line up in front of our chair. We're going to sit back into our chair deep enough, sit our booty on the seat, and then we push up. So we can take two approaches to this. You can take kind of, I call it a dead squat, where you come all the way down, lose all momentum, and then push up from there. So that kind of works on the standing part, or you can tap and stand, tap and stand. I'll let you pick which variation you want to go with. One works a little more on the lowering into the squat. One works a little more on standing up out of the squat. All right, guys, I'm going to hit start on the timer. Which, of course, it reset itself, because why wouldn't it? There we go. All right, guys, we're going to get started in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. So, again, your two variations is you sit back and stand quickly. So this is more working a little bit of cardio and working on the lowering part, focus more. Or we sit, we lose all momentum, and then we push out. Lose all momentum, push out. I will say the seated losing momentum version is usually done best if you have a low chair. Like if you're really sitting low, that's kind of the preferred way. And make sure you're keeping your chest tall. Don't let that chair psych you out and make you think you need to fold. Or don't let it psych you out and make you jet your knees forward. Perfect. All right, guys, so we're going to do single leg step-ups on this chair. I'm going to show you with my right leg, just because that's closer to the camera. You can start with left or right, but you're staying on one leg. So get ready. Again, this is a little higher than I'd like it to be. So we're going to step up, full foot on the step. Okay? Drive through that heel to stand. Little leg kick back. Step down. Step up. Kick back. Down. Now, if you can, don't put your opposite leg up. So let it trail, squeeze, so you never actually touch down on the chair with your opposite leg. guys, this doesn't have to be a cardio effort. You can take it a little slower and really focus on the strength to drive up single leg and back. Same thing, other leg. So the rules are, make sure your whole foot is on the step, the seat. Try, and also you'll see it better on this version, this side, to let this leg trail and not step up onto the seat. So we want this nice 90 when we put our foot up. We don't want to be up here. We want this nice 90. We stand, kick back. So you see how my right leg isn't coming up onto the seat. 90, drive through that heel, kick back, step down. Notice we're stepping down lightly. You're not hearing a big thud as I hit the bottom. We're protecting those joints. Step lightly. Now guys, if this is really challenging and you need to step this foot onto the step, reset, kick back, do it. Perfect. So now, this is where you're going to have that heavy weight, if you want it. And also your spare yoga mat, if you want it. I may or may not want it. I don't know just yet, but I'm going to jump into it and see. So we're going to do hip thrusters on the chair. So you want to get your shoulder blades on the edge of your seat. And you want to, from there, drive up. When you get to the top, your feet should be 90 in your knees. So then we drop down, squeeze, tush to the top. If you want to use a weight, you set it at your leg. Come down, push up. Down, push up. Let your head follow your spine. So don't keep your head craned in as you're lifting up. Let your head follow. Hips dip, drive up, squeeze the booty. Hips dip, drive up, squeeze the booty. Push through those heels, squeeze those cheeks. Perfect. All right. Come off as least awkwardly as you possibly can off that chair. All right, so from here, we're going to use that band. And we're going to have a seat. All right, guys, so we're going to have our feet in front of us, 90-degree bend. You want to be off the edge of your seat a little bit. And then we are just opening into that band, kind of rolling to the edges of our feet. And then closing. Open, close. So think of the clamshell. We're laying on our side. Same thing, we're just doing it seated. So let your knees cave all the way in, and then open. Or like a froggy bridge, except we don't have our feet in narrow. Good. So you should feel through this outer hip and in your booty when you're opening up. We're going to stay seated for the next exercise. You can leave the band on or you can take it off. It'll be your option. Perfect. So I'm going to spin to the side. So we're going to do seated leg lifts. We've done these quite a bit lately, so they may seem really familiar. So we're going to be here. You can put your band in a couple different places or you can have no band at all. So if you have a really heavy band like this, you can put the band around your thighs. We're going to sit on the edge of our seat and we're just going to lift and pull against that band by squeezing our quad. Alternatively, you could have it around your ankles. This band's just way too challenging for ankles, but if you had a rubber band, you could use ankles. Or no bands at all, you're just focusing on lifting by squeezing this quad muscle. So it's not a kick, it's a squeeze, a squeeze. And you can honestly shake it hard enough, or squeeze it hard enough, you might see my foot, my whole leg is actually shaking when I squeeze. That one really shook. So you really don't need a band unless you are just someone who hasn't quite mastered that mind-body connection where you can tell that quad muscle to squeeze. You might need the band to kind of make it more challenging and make your muscle kick in. All right, guys, excuse me. We are going to do what I call up and overs with a single leg deadlift. I'm going to move my chair so I have some more space. So you can use your chair, or if your chair is really wide like mine is, you might want to just use the chair as a guide, but not actually come up and over it. So we're going to stand in front of our chair, we're going to put our leg out, we're going to lift over the chair, back over the chair, kick your foot back while you bend this knee slightly, single leg deadlift, pull it back, up, over, single leg deadlift, pull it through. So your most challenging version is to never touch this foot down. Or you can touch, you can kick it back, you can touch down. So you got choices. Perfect, so we're going to do the other side. So guys, I'm going to just stand in a funky position to make sure you can see my whole body. So that single leg deadlift, our hips are squared off. We bend our planted leg to kick those muscles in. And we tick-tock forward like a little human T. Both hip points facing down, not here. All right, other side. Up, up. Single leg deadlift, back, and I've got something in my way. And that's the beauty of having the chair, is that if you need the extra balance, you can grab it on your way forward. As you guys can tell, I am much less smooth on my right side than I was on my left. That's our break, guys. We got 2 minutes. So again, fast and furious, I know. It's a lot. So, you know what we're doing now. We went through everything. We've got the chair squat. We've got the front step-ups with the kickback. We've got the hip thrusters on the edge of the chair. We've got our seated openers, our seated clamshells. We've got our alternating leg lifts, our up, over, deadlifts. So, kind of know where we're going now, so it's not going to feel so foreign. So take this break, do what I'm doing, kind of move your equipment around, get everything set how you want it, now that you know. What you're going to be doing. So, let's see, move my chair just a little bit. All right. So we still got a minute on our break. So I hope you guys can see what I was meaning by the chair is not making it easy today. The chair is a prop. It's facilitating our exercise, not necessarily making it easier. And so remember, guys, chair squat modification. If the chair is too low for you, just don't touch the chair. Just use it as a guide to aim for, but don't plan to sit in it if that's too low for you. The front step-ups with the kickback. If your chair is too high, pick a step in your house. Pick a lower chair. Pick a stool. Pick a stack of books that's nice and sturdy. Anything like that. The hip thrusters. If the chair just makes it unbearable for you, just lay on the floor and do hip thrusters and forget about the chair. Okay, so you've got lots of options. And again, the up and the back and the deadlift, if the chair is too high, don't use the chair, just use the chair as a guide. But step back away from the chair so you don't actually have to get your leg up and over it. So all sorts of choices, all sorts of in-betweens. Good, guys. And make sure you're still squatting appropriately. You're still sitting your hips back. The chair should really help you with that because you actually have something to sit back into. Keeping that chest nice and tall. All right, so we've got our step ups now. Remember, full thumb step. Drive through that heel, through the back of that foot. That's where the power comes from, not up on your toes. Okay? All right. Okay, so foot comes up, 90. Knee is over ankle. Drive. Squeeze that tush to kick back. Step down lightly. Step off, up. Drive. Down. Down. Again, you can trace the wall with your hand to make sure that you're nice and safe. Never in a million years, if you had asked me 2 years ago if I could do this, I never would have thought I could. Knee pain, out of control, no strength left in my legs. It's pretty incredible. And I'll say, and trust me guys, there's nothing special about me that allowed me to overcome that. It was just putting in the work, the education, the physical work, the eating work, all of those things to contribute to help bring some life back into joints that otherwise seem to be gone. Again, take this as slow as you need to. This is really about strength and control. Also make sure you're nice and close to your chair so you can really drive up versus if you're really far away, you're just kind of getting momentum to push yourself up. If you're nice and close, it's strength driving you up. And if you know what I'm talking about, wait till the break and just give it a different try. Step back, put your foot up, and then feel the difference of what you do to stand up. All right, hip thrusters on the edge of that chair. So find your sweet spot, your shoulder blades on the edge of that chair. Again, lift your hips, kind of look down if you can. Have that 90 in your knee. You squeeze at the top, lower down. Squeeze and lower. Squeeze and lower. That head, follow your body. hit those seated openers. So, come on down to our seat. Put the band up around our thighs. I'll show you this time from the side. So we've got our feet about hip width apart. We're on the edge of our chair. We're going to let our knees cave in, and then we open out. Open out. So it's definitely okay to rock up on the sides of your feet, or you can keep them flat. It's a little different sensation each way you do it. I'm doing a little bit of both. I feel like when I let my feet roll, it gets a little higher. And when I keep my feet flat, it's a little bit lower. So maybe you have a problem area you're trying to target. See which one gets closer. Whew. All right, alternating seated leg lifts. So again, you have a strong band, have it up around your thighs. You have a rubber, weaker band, put it around your ankles, or no bands at all. That's what I'm going to go with. So we're still on the edge of that seat. We have our feet extended, and we're going to just squeeze every ounce of energy we can into this big muscle here to lift that leg. Squeeze it and lift. Have a little bit of bend in that knee, or else you are prone. If your knee is locked out, you're prone to just kind of drive that knee and kind of hyperextend. So just keep a little bend in that knee. Again, it is all about the squeeze here. We're not lifting through our hips and glutes. Honestly, your feet may not even lift the floor. You might just squeeze and your foot barely hovers off the floor. Or maybe it just stays on the floor. That's fine. It's about what you're feeling here, not how high you're lifting. Whew. All right, so we've got those up, overs, deadlifts. And again, remember guys, if your chair is really high or really wide, or something is not making your up and overs work, just stand away from the chair. Use your chair as a goal, as a guide, but don't actually go up and over the chair. All right, I'm going to do my bad side first. Up, and then back. Deadlift, through. Over, back. Deadlift, pull through. Good. Make sure when you go back into that deadlift, you've got a little bend in this knee. Other side. And guys, when you're bringing your leg over and back, you want your leg to be straight. So you don't want to do this. If you're doing that, the chair's just way too high for you. You can take a weight and stand a weight up on its end, so it's only about yay high. Use that as your target. All right. Other side. Back. Over. Man, my right side, I've told you guys I've been doing a lot of work to try to sort of rehabilitate my right hip and sort of correct muscle imbalances from my scoliosis. And while it's great work, valuable work to be doing, and it's making a difference, it also really gets this hip tight from working in ways it's not used to. So you'll see how much smoother I am on this side, going back into that deadlift, versus the other side, I'm like a clunky, like a robot, like. That's our break, guys. And I only point that out in case you're feeling the same thing. You know, if you're like, why on my left side can I just hinge back and my right side is like, that was an exaggeration, that difference. We all have imbalances. This particular one I've caused myself on purpose, but I wasn't balanced the other way. So I just point that out to say that if you feel really different from one side to the next, don't judge it, don't get upset about it, but you do want to make a note of it, right? Because those imbalances, well, even mine is on purpose and I know why and I've done it, it can't linger. You don't want it to linger and then become the norm, right? Or become problematic. Maybe it is your norm, but it's not problematic yet, but it will be one day. So if you notice, my right side does this, my left side does this, you know, make a note of it, and then see a personal trainer or maybe a physical therapist, something like that, to assess it and see how you can correct it. Because it is important to get those kind of things corrected. So it's nothing to freak out about. It's very normal, but you do want to try to correct it. 38 seconds, my friends. I'm going to take the video and be right back. All right, guys, we are close. Got 15 seconds. So reevaluate again if you need to, where anything's placed, where you need to go, what you need to do different this time. And we're going to get right to it in 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. So we've got our chair squats. Sit back into our chair. We sit. Sit back. We sit. Good job, guys. Make sure those hips are sitting back into that chair. But on the flip side, make sure that you're not doing this and sticking your butt out really far to catch the chair. So there's a little middle ground there. That's what we're looking for. Front step ups with the kickbacks. So this time, really want you to think about that last tip we were kind of exploring, making sure that you're really close to that seat, that you're kind of in a natural stance when you step up, and still have your hips in alignment over your feet. Woo. Stand strong, watching, making sure that knee isn't collapsing and are out. Don't forget your little kickback, the opposite leg at the top. Other side coming up. Good job, guys. That's an exciting one. Feeling a little bit of pain on my right knee on that round. But like I said, I'll be honest, I never thought I could do it at all. In fact, I threw it in this class, one, because I thought it was a great way to utilize a chair, but I wanted to get out of my own comfort zone and challenge myself, and that could be scary to do on video, live in front of people. You know, it's definitely going through my head, like, what if I can't do this at all? And I don't have another option. I don't have a step stool or a bench or a step that's in the frame, you know? So I was like, okay, so what do we do? And then I just told myself, you know what? You can do it. Do as much as you can. If you need to stop, you need to stop. Isn't that what you would tell other people? And the answer is yes, that's what I would tell other people. So that's what I'm going to tell myself. All right, hip thrusters. You guys remember, if that back of that chair is getting to you, just take a yoga mat, fold it up, and lay it across the lip here. To the top, make sure my legs are good, and then I'm going to add that weight on. Head follows the spine. Push to the top. Now guys, if you're doing this and you feel like your knees are flaring open, not staying in alignment with your hips, they're either flaring open or collapsing in, you can put a band around your knees or around your thighs, and that will help keep them, if they're falling open, that will help keep them closed. If they're caving in, then you can work on applying pressure into the band to keep them from caving in. So yeah, you can put that band around your knees, and if your knees tend to flare out, then the band will keep them in. If your knees fall in, then you can put pressure into the band to kind of activate those muscles. Oh yeah, yeah. All right, opener. So yeah, perfect example. If your knees cave in when you're doing hip thrusters, put a band on and just kind of hold pressure into them. Well, obviously, if your knees fall open, that band's going to hold them back closed. Guys, make sure that band is hard enough that you really have to push into it to open and control it closed. So if you're just flopping out, then it's not hard enough. If you get open and then they snap that shut, it means it's too hard. All right. And shimmy that bad boy off. We've got our seated leg lifts. So we're on the edge of our chair. Really get that core nice and steady to support the spine. Don't let your booty pooch up behind you. Keep everything nice and steady. Legs come out. Squeeze. Squeeze. Good. If you're just not sure, put a hand on each leg. And then think about that big muscle, it's actually several, running across the top here. And then just try to flex that muscle into your hand. See if you can feel it. You might feel a big bump, or you might feel just a little bump into your hand. As long as you're feeling a little something there, you're doing it right. This is definitely one of those, like, somebody sees me, like, what in the heck is she doing? But it's so isolating to that muscle. It's really, really good stuff. All right, friends. We've got the up, the over, the deadlift. Oh, I'm going to start with my frustrating side first. Again. All right. So we come over the chair, back, a little bend in that knee, tick-tock forward, come up, over, back, tick-tock, down, over, back, 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 almost there, guys. Woo! Other side. So guys, when we're doing that single leg deadlift, remember we've got a little bend in that knee, our hips point to the ground, and we tick-tock over, and when we're over, we want our weight to be towards the back of our foot, and that's where we push to stand, okay? All right. Over, back, stand, back, over and backs are so good for mobility in your hips. Balance, of course. And then I throw the deadlift on there just to make it a little more challenging. For some people, the over and the back isn't too complicated. So throw a little deadlift on, amp it up a little bit. All right, guys, we have one more break. This break, and then we got one more round, and we are done. So I hope you guys are enjoying this kind of new take on our upper body. That's a really new take on upper body, isn't it? New take on this lower body workout. Really focused on kind of isolating movements. There's a little bit of cardio component to it, but we're also working on strength and steadiness. That's kind of two big pieces to this workout, is building some strength, but also building some steadiness, some foundation. We do that balance challenge, single legs, coming up and down, kind of getting our body out of its normal positions, normal routines. So strength, stability, kind of what we're working on today. All right, guys, I'm going to turn on the video. Be right back. We've got a minute left in our break. All right, guys. So I hope you guys are enjoying our fall Halloween wonderland. You know, it just gets more and more intense as it gets closer. We just got this stat this weekend, and we were like so excited. We think we have like a brand new baby. We're so excited about it. We're like taking pictures and sending them to our friends. Like, look at our new baby, look at our guy, look at our little friend we got. I love it. I love it. Decorating for holidays is just, you know, you guys, if you've been with me, you know how I feel about it. All right, guys, we have got 5 seconds. Let's go ahead and get ready. Get yourself psyched up. We got one more round to go. All right, chair squats. Again, guys, if your chair is too low or you're getting tired and suddenly the chair is too low when it wasn't before, just hover. You don't have to touch the chair. That's our goal. But a goal is a goal. A goal is not a have to today, right this minute. All right, guys. So those are done. No more chair squats. All done. That's what's fun about circuit. So once you finish the last one, you're like, yep, never have to do that again. Until Tracy tells me to again. All right, guys, we've got our step ups. Now, if you're really getting tired, friends, please don't hesitate to use the wall for some support. I don't want you to fall off the chair, and I'm not there to help you. So something I'm working on this round, specifically, is making sure I'm stepping up and keeping my foot in line with my hip, not crossing over. That actually makes it a little more challenging because you're off center. But if you think about it, when you step up on steps, you don't cross your feet over to the center line, right? You step up right out of your hip. So just make sure when you step up on the chair, you're stepping up out of your hip. Not crossing to the center, because that actually makes it easier, because now you're more towards the midline. Guys, single-sided unilateral movements, single-sided movements, so important, because it helps us build our strength evenly. It helps us, one, discover if we have one side that's doing better than the other, that's stronger than the other, that's more dominant. It helps us discover that, and then it helps us bring some evenness to it. As opposed to moving double-sided. If you're always using your left and your right together, always, you will never know. Sorry, don't need the band yet. You will never know that one leg is stronger than the other if you don't work them individually. So it's really a must. And that's why so many of my classes include that. Same for upper body too. You've got to work things individually to really assess how each leg, how each arm, how each shoulder, each booty cheek. So discover how they're working. Drive up, squeeze, hips come down, squeeze, squeeze. Getting on and off of those, not the most smooth thing I've ever done. All right, guys. Got the openers or the clamshells, whichever way you want to think about it. That band up around the thigh. Sit tall, nice long spine. Open and close. Guys, just make sure that band is above your knee, not around your knees. Never put bands around your knees. Good job, guys. Woo. All right. No more bands needed unless you're going to use it for your leg lifts. All right, so we're on the edge of that seat, getting nice and tall. Kind of knit those ribs together. Not like this. We just want to get everything long, so our spine's long, so we're not dipped into our back. Legs come out, squeeze. Again, put a hand on those legs. Feel it. Squeeze it. Again, don't worry about how you're lifting. It's how much you squeeze, not how high you lift. I know I kind of beat that point to the ground, but it's just so easy to do this exercise in a way that's not challenging. So I try to keep making points that I hope will click with you and keep you from going. I think just seeing that versus what you're seeing me do right now is hopefully all the explanation that you need. Perfect. All right, guys. All we have left is our over back deadlifts. And that is it. We are in the home stretch, friends. 2 minutes of work. All right. Over. Back. Little bend, back, squeeze it to the top. Just a little bit, back. Beautiful, friends. Back, a little bend in that knee. Take it forward. We squeeze to stand. Now you might, now that we're this far into it, our body's nice and warm. If you had a little tightness, if something wasn't working quite right, maybe it's actually feeling a little better. I feel like I'm a little more fluid than I was to start. On this side. Which that point really shows the value of sticking with that second round. First round, I really noticed it just wasn't working right. I could have given up, or just kind of like not even modified, just sort of half-assed it a little bit. But, especially when you're dealing with something like tightness or stiffness, try to keep going. And again, I'm not talking about injuries, things like that. I think you guys know me better than that by now. But, there's something like those muscles in my outer right hip are just stiff, then the more you get your body heated, the more you move it, the more likely it's going to get better. You just stick with it. Honestly, my first 3 rounds all felt pretty much the same. The third may be a little bit of improvement. Right one felt a lot better. So don't give up on yourself. Never think all is lost. I think I've given you a couple stories today that speak to that. Ding, ding, ding. I'm going to finish my last one. Woo-hoo! That was something totally new. Obviously a format we know well, but we have never done a completely chair propped class. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was a fun challenge to kind of see how we can take something we perceive as making a class easier and flip it on its head and use it to make the class more challenging. Hi, Rizzo. We missed you. We missed you. You could have been in our chair. No, you shouldn't have been in our chair. That'd be a bad idea. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that workout. If you have any ideas, anything you'd like to see, definitely let me know. We're at about 140 videos now, so I'm trying to get creative and come up with some new stuff. And of course, sometimes we recycle back to some old friends, some oldies but goodies. But if you ever have any suggestions, anything you'd like to see, please let me know. I'm happy to try to work that into any class that we do. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Again, I encourage you to please like and share and subscribe. Get active with us on social media, whatever that looks like for you. The more you can do, the more that helps us get our effort out in front of more people. We keep trying to improve, but it can't happen without your help. Speaking of help, if you would consider, please donate. Venmo at Strong Style Fit. That is the only payment that I receive for these classes. It is the thing that motivates me and helps me keep bringing these great ideas, great equipment, great new effects, lights, things like that to the set and help give you the best workout I can possibly give you. So guys, thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you in a few days for another workout. You guys take care. Mwah.